Our war has been raging for billions of years, claiming trillions of victims every day, and we hardly notice it. This battle is waged by the smallest and deadliest creatures on our planet. Bacteriophages, also known as phages. A phage is a virus that is neither truly alive nor truly dead. They look like they were designed by someone. Its head is shaped like an icosahedron, a cube with 20 faces and 30 edges that contains the virus's genetic material and often sits on a long tail that has thread-like projections. Phages are more numerous on Earth than all other organisms combined, including bacteria, and are likely to be found wherever life exists. At this moment, there are billions of them on your hands, in your body, and even on your eyelids. This idea may be troubling since phages are responsible for much of the death on Earth. But you're lucky. While they cause mass extinctions, they only kill bacteria. They wipe out up to 40% of all bacteria in the oceans every day. Nevertheless, phages have their limitations. Like all viruses, they require a host to survive and reproduce. They are essentially nothing more than genetic material in a shell, and they are highly specialized. A phage has usually chosen a specific bacterium and perhaps some of its close relatives as prey. Think of a phage as a missile that only hunts and kills members of a very unfortunate family. When a phage finds its victim, it connects its thread-like outgrowths to the receptors on the bacterium's surface and injects its genetic material using a type of syringe. In a strange movement, the phage squeezes out its tail and injects its genetic information. Within a few minutes, the bacterium is taken over and forced to produce all the components for new phages. This happens until the bacterium is filled with brand new phages. In the final step, they produce endolysins, a powerful enzyme that punches a hole in the bacterium. The pressure is so high that the bacterium spits out its internal components and dies. New phages are released and the cycle begins again. In recent years, bacteriophages have gained the attention of the second deadliest creature on Earth, humans. Recently, we started injecting millions of them into our bodies out of desperation. We screwed up. In earlier times, even a single cut or a sip from the wrong puddle could be fatal. Bacteria were our phages, tiny monsters that hunted us mercilessly. About 100 years ago, however, we happened upon fungi that produced compounds that killed bacteria, antibiotics. Suddenly we had a powerful superweapon. Antibiotics were so effective that we stopped thinking of bacteria as monsters. Only the old and weak among us were killed by them. We started using antibiotics more and more for less and less serious causes. We lost respect for the monsters and the weapon. But bacteria are evolving creatures, and little by little they began to become immune to our weapons. This continued until we created so-called superbacteria. Bacteria are becoming increasingly immune to almost all of our available weapons. As we speak, this immunity is spreading worldwide. By 2050, superbugs could kill more people per year than cancer. The days when a simple cut, a bladder infection, or a cough could kill you or your loved ones could return. In the USA alone, more than 35,000 people die every year from resistant bacteria. But it turns out that phages, our tiny killer virus robots, could save us. We can inject them into our body to cure infections. Wait a moment, how could injecting millions of viruses into an infection be a good idea? Phages are extremely specialized bacteria killers. so specialized that humans are completely immune to them. We are too different. Every day we encounter billions of phages and we ignore each other. Antibiotics are like carpet bombings that kill everything, including the good bacteria in our intestines that we don't actually want to harm. Phages, on the other hand, are like guided missiles that only attack what they are supposed to. But wait, if we use phages to kill bacteria with bacteria, won't the bacteria try to defend themselves? Well, this is more complicated than you thought. Phages have also evolved. There's been an arms race between them and bacteria for billions of years, and so far they're doing well. This makes phages intelligent weapons that are getting better at killing. But even if bacteria were to become immune to our phages, we could still win. It has been found that in order to become resistant to only some types of phages, bacteria must give up their resistance to antibiotics. We could put them in a bind. This has already been successfully tested on a patient for whom there was no longer any hope. The bacterium Pseudomonas aeruginosa, one of the most feared bacterial species, infected the man's chest cavity. They are naturally resistant to most antibiotics and can even survive an alcohol-based disinfectant. After years of suffering, a few thousand phages were injected directly into his chest cavity. Because they were immunized against antibiotics, the bacteria were powerless. After a few weeks, the infections had completely disappeared. Unfortunately, this treatment is still experimental, and pharmaceutical companies are reluctant to invest the necessary billions in a treatment that has not yet received official approval. But things are changing. The largest phage study to date began in 2016, and phages are receiving more and more attention. And we'd better get used to it, because the era when antibiotics were our super weapon is coming to an end. It may be a strange concept, but injecting the deadliest creature on planet Earth directly into our bodies could save millions of lives.